Okay. So, good afternoon, all of you. First of all, I am very much thankful to the organizers for giving me this opportunity. I shall speak on bio-nanofertilizers, a future for higher food production. Probably you all know when any dimension, maybe length, breadth, or height of a particle is 100 nanometer or less, then it is called nanoparticle. And under nano size, particles show some unusual properties which you can exploit for the benefit of a higher food production. Why nanoparticles in agriculture? Because they have large surface area and high reactivity. They have the better penetration capacity into the cell. They increase plant and microbial activities, result in more nutrient use efficiency. They are the effective catalyst of plant and microbial metabolism, and that triggers the enzyme release. That is very important character. There is enormous scope of nanoparticles to use in agriculture. You can use as nanocoating, nanofilters, nanomagnets, nanobarcodes, quantum dots. It can be used as nanosensors, nanotracers, nanoscale carriers, biosensors. You can use nanoparticles as photocatalyst, precision agriculture, smart delivery system, nanolignosellulose, and definitely it can be used as nanonutrient, nanoemulsions, nanocomposites, nanopesticide, and so on. The nanoparticle can easily be prepared by physical, chemical, or aerosol technique. But problem is that when you go for the synthesis of these techniques, then the particles are naked. So unless and until you coated them, they are not stable, they are immediately agglomerating, becoming megaparticle. Therefore, we have developed a microbial synthesized technique, or you can say biosynthesized technique, where we are isolating this is our patent number, where we are isolating the organisms from the native soil. Then their spores, we are making fungal ball. You see, microbial ball we are making, and that ball we are allowing to release the enzymes to break down our desired salts into nano. You can see it here, the enzyme releasing, and then salt is broken down to nanoform. So the beauty of this method is that you can see it here. This is the same image, and each and every particle are naturally encapsulated by mother protein. So unless and until the protein layer breaks, they are stable. So we found that easily under room temperature, the particles are 1 year stable. So you can use this nanoparticle as liquid, or if you like, these nanoparticles you can use as solid with treating with oleic acid and xylene, and start 1 hour for 50 degrees centigrade, and then go for centrifugal separation of modified particle, then washed with toluene and dried under vacuum at 50 degrees centigrade, and you will get solid nanoparticles also. So both ways you can use it. So we have developed so far 73 different organisms which are their protein can be used to produce whatever nanoparticle needed for plant development. So I am showing some examples here. These are the organisms that are producing this type of nanoparticles from their respective soil solution through the action of their proteins. Now, these nanoparticles can protect soil. You can see when we are using chemical fertilizer after irrigation, there is a lot of nutrient loss. The rhizosphere nutrient buildup is very less microbial buildup in the rhizosphere, less organic buildup in the rhizosphere, organic matter buildup. Nutrient use efficiency is less, and nutrient mobility is less. But if you shift to nanofertilizer, so what will happen? The nutrient retention capacity will increase in the rhizosphere, soil microbial activity builds up in the rhizosphere, more organic matter build up, nutrient use efficiency is more, and nutrient mobility is more. So by shifting from fertilizer to nanofertilizer, you can get so much advantage. It can protect air. You see, when we are using chemical fertilizer with irrigation water, you know, nitrogen volatilization loss is there. But when we are using nanofertilizer with irrigation water, no emission is noticed. Again, carbon nanotubes made from titanium dioxide nanoparticles can absorb and oxidize harmful gases produced from agriculture practices. You see, 1 micrometer carbon nanotubes become 5 micrometer with no time due to absorption of carbon dioxide gas. 8 micrometer becomes 15 micrometer. So that you get rid of harmful gases from the atmosphere. It can protect water also. You see, when we are using agrochemicals, there is first release. So plant retention capacity becomes less, and CPS, lot of CPS is there, and groundwater is polluted. But if we use nanoparticles as agrochemicals or nanoparticles coated agrochemicals, then there is slow release and absorption is increased. So we found no groundwater pollution is noticed. Again, up to 90% of the agrochemicals directly run off in the environment due to their uncontrolled application. But if we use nano-coated pesticide or fungicide that help to control their release in soil and can reduce environment and health risks. Nanofiltration you can very well use to treat wastewater for subsequent application in irrigation. It requires low operating and energy cost, and nanofiltration removes nearly all bacteria and viruses, most organic matter, divalent ions, and up to 90% of the monovalent ions. If you can use this nanoparticle from the seed treatment to grain storage, in all steps you can use it. For example, if you use for seed treatment, it increases seed strength, promotes faster, steadier growth and germination. If we, for example, when we are using nano silver coating on seeds, it can improve water absorption. The seed treated nanoparticle, we find they are fungicide resistant, flood resistant, pest resistant, temperature resistant, and they can intake the nutrient inside. And nanoparticle treated plants show 73% increase in vegetable dry weight and 3 times increase in vitamin. Nanoparticles increases 90% of drought resistance. Even grain storage, there are different sensors, nanosensors now developed, and it is available in the market. A carbon dioxide sensor, acoustic sensor, odor sensor, pressure sensor, temperature sensor, humidity, and dust sensor that you can use very well for storage of grains. Now, if we use nanoparticles as fertilizer, microbial synthesized nanoparticles, what will happen? We compared here with conventional fertilizer, and in case of nanofertilizer, solubility is high, improved dispersion of insoluble nutrients in soil, soil absorption and fixation is reduced, viability is high as compared to conventional fertilizer. Nutrient efficiency is very high. That is very important point. That's why we can save huge fertilizer resource. Release rate and pattern is precisely controlled. Effective duration of release, extended effective duration. In case of nanofertilizer, we found the duration of release is even goes up to 50 days. But in case of conventional fertilizer, only 4 to 10 days. And reduce loss of fertilizer nutrients. Then why biogenic nanofertilizer should prefer? Because 30 to 100 times less required than chemical fertilizer. 4 to 20 times more efficient than chemical fertilizer, 2 to 4 times less costly, control release of nutrient to match the uptake pattern, improve in the solubility of insoluble nutrient in soil, and effective duration of nutrient supply. Now, you can use nanoparticle as protectant also. We found the silver, copper, gold, titanium dioxide nanoparticle can use as protect against bacteria, fungi, virus, insects. Again, it can be used as carrier. For example, silica, chitin, solid lipase nanoparticles can be used as insecticide, fungicide, herbicide carriers. So ultimate, what benefit you will get for that? The shelf life can increase, site-specific uptake can increase, solubility can increase, soil leaching can decrease, and we can decrease the toxicity also. What nanoparticle can do? Actually, when we apply to the plants, it can reduce the toxicity, improve the shelf life, increase the solubility. When we are applying the nanoparticle on plant, it can control the pest, it can control the disease, it can control plant genetic modification, it can control post-harvest prevention of loss. You can use nanoparticle as nanosensor for diagnostic changes in plant health and soil condition. You can use nanoparticle as fertilizer, remediation of soil and water, as well as soil improvement. So overall, we can say it makes sustainable to social sustainability, economic sustainability, and environmental sustainability through biomass enhancement, after optimization of sources like soil, water, and materials, through enhancement of crop production, through enhancement of nutrient fortification, and yield enhancement. You know, plant is suffering different type of stresses. For example, biotic stresses is due to heat, cold, drought. salt, metal, flooding, which ultimately affecting primary metabolites and plant development. And plants also suffering biotic stresses due to pathogenic attack, insect attack, herbivore attack, which ultimately affecting phytohormones and plant defense. You see, nanoparticle can easily control all this. We found that for against pathogenic attack, copper, silver, titanium, sulfur, these nanoparticles are very effective. For viral attack, silver, gold nanoparticle is very effective. Insect attack, aluminum, silver, titanium dioxide, zinc oxide nanoparticle is very effective. Nematode attack, titanium dioxide, zinc oxide, weed attack, silver, copper, iron. Moisture stress, you can zinc and iron you can use against moisture stress, saline stress, selenium and selenium oxide, temperature, selenium and silver. So all types of stress condition you can overcome through nanoparticles, different nanoparticles. You can use nanoparticles as oxidizing agent also. Titanium dioxide, zinc oxide, zinc sulfate can very well use as oxidizing agent. We found that if we compare here with chemical fertilizer, nanofertilizer, you can see protein content in the leaf. It is increasing protein content and declining SOD activity. That is very important because declining semioxide dismutase activity means plant becomes more stress tolerant. That's why we are getting more stress tolerant when we are applying nanoparticle to the plants. Again, with the application of nanoparticle, also here we compare chemical fertilizer with nanoparticle. You see, chlorophyll content has been improved and MDA activity is declining. Declining MDA activity means prevention of membrane damage. The cell damage is less. So your nano-treated plants survive more time than normal plants. Again, magnesium, titanium dioxide nanoparticle, we found that we compare here with megaparticle that improve light absorption, which ultimately help to improve the chlorophyll content in the plant. So nanoparticle as a solution of you can say sustainable water use, treatment of seed, pest and disease detection, enhance nutrient delivery and plant protection, remediation, and reduce runoff. So it increases quality and quantity of yields and decrease soil pollution. Again, nanoparticle you can use as nanobioformulations. That is another way to use nanoparticles. It is the integration of biofertilizer with microbial synthesized nanoparticle in order to improve the better growth of the plants. The formulations containing one or more beneficial microorganisms, enhancing soil productivity, maybe nitrogen fixer, P solubilizer, mobilizer, and plant growing stimulator. So major advantage what you are getting with this nanobioformulation, the shelf life and delivery of biofertilizer has been improved. The release of active ingredient in control manner, solve the limitation of biofertilizer, enhance stability, protection against oxidation, consecutive delivery of multiple active ingredients. This nanobioformulation you can very easily make in your laboratory by using electrospinning or electrospray or a nanospray. You see, you can make nanocapsules where biotips are confined in the cavity, or you can make a nanosphere where biotips are dispersed in the matrix. So under nanocapsule, the nanoparticles may be entrapped inside or surface absorbed. In case of nanosphere also may be entrapped inside or maybe surface absorbed. So what additional advantage we are getting with this formulation? It increases plant photosynthetic rate, promote plant growth, increase plant biomass, increase plant protein, extended harvest, reducing stress condition, accumulation of proline, synthesis of plant hormones, pseudophore production, biological nitrogen fixation, phosphate solubilization, and mineralization. So potential biogenic effect if we take overall. So nanoparticles helping environmental quality, improve nutrient uptake, improve water holding capacity, improve soil quality, increase microbial activity, plant productivity and health. And you can use nanoparticle through foliage and as a smart fertilizer also, as slow and control release fertilizer you can use it. It can reduce nutrient volatilization, reduce nutrient leaching. You can use very well nanoparticle as bio-nano formulations. So now how to use the nanoparticle? Better to use nanoparticle as foliage spray. That maximum advantage we are getting, but you can use the nanoparticle in the soil, in the drip, as sprinkler irrigation, hydroponic, aeroponic, aquaponic, any way you can use it. But better to use this as foliage when we are using this foliage application, then better to use aerosol sprayer or nebulizer. We found that when you are using aerosol sprayer nebulizer, then loss is only 15% in the environment. But when you are using normal sprayer, 33% loss is there. Again, the particle size is 20 nanometer or less is best for agriculture use. You can see the results. When we are using 20 nanometer size nanoparticle, within 48 hours, we are spraying on leaves and getting 53% nanoparticle in the root. So they travel so much. But when 40 nanometer, only 21% we are getting on root, 60 nanometer, 11%. So as a smaller size nanoparticle is best for agricultural use. Again, cube shape nanoparticle is best for agricultural use than flash shape, wire shape, and case shape. Within 24 hours, you find that 21% travel to the root, whereas nanoplate 8%, wire shape 9%, case shape 4% only. So when we are spraying nanoparticles, actually it can enter the plant through cuticle, stomata, hydrothetes, stigma, other anticides, and from roots, root tips, rhizodermis, lateral root junction, and wounding. After entering, what is happening? It is our nanoparticle is entering through stomata, you can see, and then after stomata entering, it can moving through the cell shaft. So while moving, they're triggering the different enzyme system, coenzyme system of the plant, and after triggering, you can see they are triggering the system during moving, and after triggering, they are directly either absorbing in the cell or some nanoparticles found they absorb in the vacuole accumulation is there. So what is during triggering, what is happening? You see, this is the phosphatase enzyme structure, and if you look at the cofactor, magnesium, phosphorus, and zinc. So if we apply any of the nanoparticles, maybe magnesium, maybe zinc, you get more phosphatase release by the plants. So more P mobilization in the soil P mobilization, so more nutrient uptake, P uptake in the plants we may expect. So we found that that is the beauty of the nanoparticle, that you by applying on nanonutrient, you can get multiple effect due to that triggering effect through the enzymes. So you can see it here. We found a 32 to 212% improvement of different beneficial enzyme release by the plants. So you trigger the plants, you make plants active. Otherwise, when we are using fertilizer, plants is just sleeping and they are just eating only. So you can bombard the plants so to make active so that they can release the enzymes and make nutrient available for them. You can see it here, that beneficial enzyme activity, that different beneficial enzyme activity. This is the average of 12 crops. So all beneficial enzymes is increasing with the application of foliage. That's why I tell you that it is better to apply nanoparticle as foliage. Then you get maximum advantage. This is optimum concentration we should use to foliage spray that we have standardized for nitrogen 80 ppm, phosphorus 40-50, potassium 40-20 for legumes, magnesium 20-20, zinc cereal 10, legumes 10, iron cereal legume 30-30, boron 4 ppm cereal, 10 ppm legumes, and molybdenum 6 ppm cereal, 2 ppm legumes. This is the average of 32 crops. We find that this is the best safe limit of 32%. That's why we are presenting the safe limit which one should use when we are using particular nanoparticle as nutrient. And if you compare the nutrient use efficiency, you can see it here. The nitrogen use efficiency is increased. Chemical fertilizer, 30 to 35% only the use efficiency, but biosynthesis nanoparticle 82 to 85% you find. Phosphorus 4 times increase, 15 to 20, which is increased to 8 to 65%. Potassium again almost 3 times, 35 to from 35 to 40% to 82 to 88%. Sulfur 4 times improvement. All micronutrient, micronutrient use efficiency is not more than 5% in any soil. This we are getting more than 80%. So almost 20 times use efficiency in micronutrient you can expect when you apply micronutrient as nano. So now here I am comparing on nutrients, so you can understand how many fold benefit you are getting. You see, this is now we are using phosphorus. I'm dealing with phosphorus. Yeah, we are adding macro P as fertilizer. Now I am telling you use nano P as fertilizer. In case of macro P, only 3% native P in plant available. In any soil throughout the world, you will not get a soil where available P is more than 3%. But here, due to triggering of phosphatase release or nutrient release, beneficial enzyme release, native P mobilization increased by 30%. Here 15% applied P only available form because P use efficiency is only 50%. Here in case of nano, it is 61%, or on an average 60% you can expect. Here calcium, iron, aluminum, silica inhibits available P. Here no interference due to nano size and foliar application. And less plant initiative to mobilize P. In case of macro P, here increase in plant activity due to triggering of enzymes. In case of chemical fertilizer, plant is sleeping, but here you are triggering the plant system. Imported raw material, of course, we are importing Indian condition. I am telling that we are importing the raw materials and using huge amount of foreign drain. But here no requirement of subsidy and import of raw material. So what benefit we are getting? 80 to 100 times less required than chemical fertilizer, less cost. We found that at least 2 to 8 times less cost if you compare different fertilizers, 10 times more stress tolerance, yield increase 23 to 54% when you use nano P. Eco-friendly, can be applied all types of crops. Per hectare benefit in India rupees, you are getting 4,000 to 17,000, 32 to 212% increase in beneficial enzyme, and improvement in soil health. You see, I am showing some of the results of our in the research field as well as farmers field with application of different nanonutrients. Some of the crops we have already having almost more than 32 crops results. You see, both research field and farmers field with the application of nanonutrient, we are getting overall 70 to 54% more increase in yield in the both conditions. And here we have calculated, because I am based on Rajasthan, so we have calculated the nutrient yield potential, how much Rajasthan can be improved. This is the major 5 crops. Here it is arid condition. The yield is very poor, present yield potential, which can improve at least 30% to 32% when if we shift to nano fertilizer instead of chemical fertilizer. So again, another point very important, the nanoparticle helps to improve the polysaccharide production by polysaccharide producing organisms. It is the polysaccharide producing fungi, polysaccharide producing bacteria. You can see it here, and there 10 to 12 times more polysaccharide production we can find with the application of different nanoparticles. And this we have developed a method which patented, the polysaccharide powder making method. And this polysaccharide powder we had made from different organisms, and then this polysaccharide powder we are using for soil aggregation, moisture retention, and carbon buildup. You can see it here. This is Joshua soil, where 95% is sand particle. You see, within 1 month, how nicely they aggregated. So we are getting that 1 millimeter soil aggregate 33 to 80% improvement, 0.5 millimeter 82% improvement, and 0.18 millimeter 56% improvement. So when we are applying this 1%, 4%, 5% in the soil, polysaccharide is a carbon, so immediately carbon buildup is there. But at crop maturity, at least 3 to 4% carbon buildup you may expect with the application of this nano-induced polysaccharide powder. And again, moisture retention in under Arid system also we are getting 10 to 14% more retention of water with the application of this this polysaccharide producing and nano-induced polysaccharide powder. Now, if you compare yield with different generation of fertilizer, I have compared here. So chemical fertilizer, it is the first generation fertilizer, you know. Here you can expect 14 to 18%. Overall, all crops, if you take average, 14 to more, you don't expect more than 14 to 18% yield increase. In case of organic fertilizer, this is second generation, 8 to 12% only you may expect. Third generation fertilizer, growth stimulator or gluconate based product, you can expect 5 to 10% more yield. But we found that microbial synthesized nanonutrients, if you use it as fertilizer, we are getting 24 to 32% more improvement in yield you can expect. If you look at the soil health condition, when it is after continuous 5 years application, chemical fertilizer soil health is deteriorating. But organic fertilizer, you see, nicely maintaining the soil health. Even growth stimulator also maintaining the soil health. And microbial synthesized nanonutrients, you can see, almost as good as organic fertilizer in respect of soil maintenance. So now comes to ethical issues. That is very important. If you look at seed germination, I have compared ordinary fertilizer with nano fertilizer. You see no significant difference. These are 4 crops, 3 legumes on sphere. Sorry, soluble seed protein content, no significant difference. You can get microbial activity. Microbial activity is increasing gradually under nano condition. Microbial activity is increasing. If you look at the grain consumption and blood pH, it is slightly increasing rather after feeding to that, and you can see it is gradually increasing. Blood pH, no significant difference. And when we are offering the nano food to the to the animal and continuous feeding for 5 years, you can see with recommended doses, no adverse effect on liver, kidney, and spleen. So recommended doses is very safe for application of nanoparticles. And if you look at genetic condition, some immunogens express differently. Some significantly down-regulated, some up-regulated. In case of cereals, sorry, but we have found that one enzyme, endobetaminase, that is secreting when we are using nanoparticle to the cereal crops, and these enzymes actually plays a key role in plant growth and development, including embryogenesis, seed germination, shoot growth, leaf formation, flower development, and fruit ripening. In case of legumes, you see some immunogens also changing, some significantly down-regulated, some up-regulated. But these immunogens actually helping plants. These are helping for carbohydrate metabolism, these immunogens, lipid metabolism, nucleotide metabolism, amino acid metabolism, and biosynthesis, secondary metabolism. So these changes actually, we found that mostly they are helping to the plants. So what we have learned from this deliberation, you see, biogenic nanoparticles may prevent environmental, air, water, soil pollution. It has the potential to reduce or omit chemical fertilizer application as well as plant stress condition. Biogenic nanoparticles are very safe with recommended doses of application. It can increase the nutrient use efficiency and profit with much lower investment. It can protect and increase the efficiency of biofertilizer. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience.